Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If you're new, my name is Chanel, the owner of 3 Balls Handmade Soaps and More, and today I'm going to be showing you all how I make our oatmeal, milk, and honey soap. Alright guys, so as always, I like to show you all my supplies, what I'm going to be using. I got some oats right here, since we are going to be making oat milk. Now you do not have to make this. Of course, you can always purchase the oat milk, but we're doing this the natural way. So I am going to make my oat milk, and then we got some raw honey. I need to get some more, but I picked up both of these from my local grocery store. And then I also have my mixer over here that I'm going to be using right here. You do not have to use a mixer. If you don't have one, don't stress about it. You can just use your stick blender. It will literally work the same way. So, and I think, oh, a cheesecloth. I don't have that out here, but I did use a cheesecloth. So now I'm gonna clean off my table, and then we'll get started soaking our oats. So now that I have my oats measured out in my bowl, I am just going to cover them with some distilled water. And again, I used just enough water just to cover the oats. That was it. After that, I let them sit for a little bit, and then it was time for me to strain them. Now, I did not let these sit too long, because if you do, then they will get kind of slimy, and that's not what I wanted. So once it was time for me to strain them, that's what I'm doing right now. I just use my pitcher and made sure to get out as much of the water as I could. Alright, so now that I got that out of the way, I'm just going to add these oats to my mixer now, well, to my blender. Now, if you don't have one of these, then it's perfectly fine. You can still do this with a stick blender. I just happen to have one, so therefore I use mine. But I'm going to add in 3 cups of distilled water to this. I did 3 cups. You can do anywhere from 1 to 4 cups, whatever you like. I just chose to do 3. So that's what I'm doing right now. Alright, so we got the water in there, and it's time for me to use my mixer. Now, I did this off camera, so I will be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and this is what she looks like, guys. Now we have us some oat milk. Now, you can see some little oats at the top. This next step, you don't necessarily have to do. And as a matter of fact, I will link my other video to my other oat milk soap. So, but yeah, so this step right here is the step that I was saying you don't really have to do if you don't want to. I just chose to do this to try to get out as much of the oatmeal as possible, because I did go back and use some colada oats. So again, this step right here is optional. You don't have to use this cheesecloth. I just chose to try to get out as much oats as possible. So that's what I'm doing right now. And y'all, I must say, this step right here is definitely a pain, at least for me. I can only speak for myself. So when I first put this cheesecloth on here, I don't know if you kind of seen that, but I like tucked it up under the pitcher. I found that kind of helps, especially when working with this oat milk. When using this cheesecloth to strain it again, to me it kind of helps like secure it a little bit. If not, once the weight of the oat milk and, well, the weight of the liquid plus the oatmeal that's in there gets in that cheesecloth, it kind of like weighs it down, and then you run the risk of it falling into your milk, and then you have to strain it all over again. So that's why I kind of tucked mine up under the picture. And I don't recommend squeezing that because then you will definitely get more oats back in there. And this is what we have, guys. I got out as much oats as I could. All right, so now that we have our milk done and to the side, it is time to start gathering up my ingredients. So that's what you all see me doing right now. And then once everything cools, it is showtime. All right, so now that my oils have cooled down as well as my water loss solution, it is time for me to add my milk portion directly into the oils. And I replaced 50% of my liquid with milk. 50% of my liquid was replaced with milk. And I do not have a recipe listed here. However, I do have another oat milk soap that I will tag in the description so that way you guys, if you want to make this, you can definitely use that recipe or another recipe. But right here, I'm just using my stick blender to go ahead and like blend up the milk with the oils before I add in my water loss solution. And now that I have everything combined, the milk and the water loss solution, it is time for me to stick blend until I reach my desired trace. Alright, so once I've reached my desired trace, I'm just going to add in my colado oats as well as some honey. And I did not add in essential oils. Again, I personally don't care for essential oils in my oatmeal soaps, my turmeric soaps, my oatmeal and honey soaps, my oatmeal, my milk soaps, my oatmeal milk and honey soaps. I don't put essential oils in those type soaps. And that's just me. That's just my own personal preference. Oh, and keep in mind that honey is sugar, so therefore it's going to cause your soap to speed up the trace. It's going to cause it to accelerate. So just keep that in mind once you're working with it. And right here, I'm just blending it up a little bit more to make sure that I have everything, to make sure that all the oats and honey and stuff like that gets dissolved. Some people don't like to add honey at trace. I don't have any problems with it, so therefore I added at trace. Some people like to do a 1-to-1 ratio with honey and I think water or honey and their oils or something like that. But again, I personally don't have any problems with adding it at trace, so definitely do what works for you. So now it's time to pour this soap in our mold. And y'all, this soap looks so creamy. I love the way that this oat milk, like, I like the way that it gives like your soap like a creamy look. And also to keep in mind that if you don't have the time to make your own oat milk, you can also just buy it from the store. Just be mindful of what's in the milk that you get from the store. So but I personally like to make my own. So Alright, so now that we have our soap in the mold, I just give it a quick little shake. Try not to throw any out and tap it on my table a little bit so that I can get out whatever air bubbles that may be left in there. And I'm just wiping off the edges of the soap. And right here, I was kind of like messing with the top to see if I could, if it was like firm enough for me to be able to work with it. And once it was, I went and got some bubble wrap. I think I forgot to mention that in the beginning. You don't necessarily have to use bubble wrap. I just like the look of the honeycomb. So I got me some bubble wrap and just press that into the top of my soap. Try to get as much of the print, the bubbles or whatever to show up through the soap. So just press it down in there as much as you can. And once I was done doing that, I pretty much just went back in along the other side with my spoon. You can keep the other side flat, throw you some oats on there. I did not want to put any oats on top, so therefore I just went back with the spoon and that was it. And this is what she looked like, guys. Like I said, you can always go like down the middle if you want with some oats. I just chose not to do that. So we're gonna let this sit and I'll be back. All right, guys, so it was the next day. I let this sit for about like 24 hours. Actually, could have let it sit longer, but I had plans for the weekend, so therefore I needed to get this done. But anyway, I don't know how well my camera is picking this up, but I did get a little crack in the middle, and but it's fine. I'm not worried about that. I'm sure it's from the heat. I did soap as close to room temp as I was comfortable with soaping, so but yeah. And this soap was a little soft, just like on the ends at the bottom. That's it. Which that was expected, because I personally did not do a water discount with this soap. So, and like I said, had I let it sit for like 48 hours, it would have been fine. I just did not have the time, but it's gonna be okay. It's okay. I'm cool with it. I didn't get a full gel, as you can see, especially down here, like at the bottom. On the sides, it's not so much. You can kind of see it, but at the bottom is when you can definitely see it. But again, I'm completely fine with that. It's fine. And I was so wrapped up in looking at the bottom I almost forgot to take the bubble wrap off the top. And when you take the bubble wrap off, y'all, just make sure you get all the plastic off. You don't want to leave any plastic on there, which I'm sure you'll probably catch it once you cut it. But just try to remove all the plastic off. All right, so now it is time to cut this loaf up, and I'm very pleased with this. I like this color. When you add honey, honey gives your soap like a tannish looking color. So that's what I have right here. But and again, I'm not worried about the gel. I'm not upset that I didn't get a full gel. It is what it is. I still think the soap came out lovely. And like I said, I knew that was expected. I did unmold it at 24 hours, with the bottom end. So had I let it sit another day, my ends would have been a lot more firmer. But this is what we have on the inside, you guys. Love the color and just enjoy the cut. And now that I have them all cut up, y'all already know what time it is. It is time for me to use my best friend, the stamp. So I'm just getting my soaps ready to get them stamped. And here we go, guys. Here it is. And you can see right there at the top of that one and this one too, where that was like the little crack in the middle. But again, it's fine. And that is all I have for you all today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing. Let me know what you think. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.